The isekai. It is a genre that needs no introduction. It's by far one of, if not the most derivative genre in all of anime. Some of them are pretty good, or even great, standing out on their own merits as entertainment and art. And then the vast majority pull from the same tropes over and over and over again, to the point where everything becomes a congealed slop that really is only enjoyable depending on your interests. I don't want to meet who's interested in this. But among this slop, there is one that stands out. One that goes, hey, why don't we take the most generic isekai story possible and smash it together with the most generic video game series possible? Incredible. Wow, that's what an amazing idea. Truly impressive. Can I give you a blow? That's how he got Gate. Gate is such a weird anime to me. It honestly feels like it shouldn't even exist, but I'm glad it does. The isekai genre is just so oversaturated. Bold statements here on this channel, I know. It almost feels reductive to say it with how much it's parroted across the internet. But it is for good reason. Pretty much every idea has been done for the concept by now. What if our main character was evil? What if they're a pushover? What if they're a vending machine? Wait, what? And probably rarest of them all, what if they actually have good writing? Yeah, look, I love ReZero, okay? Sue me. That's how it pretty much is half the time, and then the other half is just the same old tropes. Let's have our main character be super overpowered. Let's make everything feel like it's a video game. Let's have them be surrounded by a bunch of women who want nothing more than to choke on the protagonist. You get the idea. It's the same shit used over and over again. Which arguably makes Gate stand out that much more. And in the process makes it a bit more disappointing. But I am getting ahead of myself, and I don't want to come across as overly negative, as I genuinely do like Gate. You know, despite all the problems it has. We'll get to those later. But before we delve into the anime itself, we need to first talk about why it exists in the first place. Alright, quick history lesson. So, let's go back to the end of the Second World War. I'm sure you're familiar with those events. You've probably seen Oppenheimer or any of Oversimplified's videos. Well, after the war, old General MacArthur basically banned the Japanese from ever having an official military again as punishment for being very naughty boys. Flash forward to the 50s, it's the Cold War, and everyone's a bit scared of the USSR, especially Japan. Because of that, they formed the Japanese Self-Defense Force, or JSDF. As the name implies, the JSDF purely exists for self-defense. As if Japan were to have an official military and go all Pacific Empire on the world again, well, you know what happened last time.
United States versus Japan. Fight. Finish him.
Anyways, flash forward again, it's 2006, and a former JSDF member called Takumi Yanai decides to write a little web novel called Gate. Then a publisher by the name of Alpha Polis picks it up for a light novel adaptation, then it gets adapted into a manga in 2012, and then finally, in 2015, it got its own anime. That is the entire timeline of this series' existence up to the anime's first season. I'm not going into that much detail. I have not read any of the written adaptations of this series, including the manga. All I care about for this video is the anime. So what is it? It certainly is, and I love it.
It's a monster!
Alright, let's go over the first season. Just a small disclaimer, I will be using the dubbed version of the series. Sorry sub over dub anime fans, my comfort is more important to me than your preferences. This is our main character, Yoji Itami. He's incredibly lazy and a gigantic nerd. He's on his way to a comic convention until a mysterious passageway opens in Ginza. A gate, if you will. Hey, that's the name of the show.
So that's it? What, we some kinda...
Gate.
Anyways, a bunch of people and monsters come through. Whoa, looks like you're going to war, Itami. And go to war Japan does, with the Japanese absolutely decimating the invading forces. The Japanese then mobilize to go through the gate where they encounter forces on the other side. After this, we cut to the Empire. No, not that Empire, or that one, or that one. Also, this Empire is totally not Rome at all. Here we meet the Emperor, Augustus.
No relation.
Whose name I literally only know because I looked it up on the Gate Wiki. The Emperor is meeting with his Senate regarding their failure so far with the Japanese. Now, at this point in the anime, you may be asking the question, why was the Emperor's first response to a portal to another world to attack the people on the other side? That's a good question. Anyway, the Empire reaches out to their vassal states to launch a counterattack. It goes about as well as you'd expect.
Stop exploding, you cowards!
Seeing as their attack failed, they go for a nighttime raid to take them off guard. Unfortunately for them, the JSDF have these things called flares. And they once again get blown up like it's your average Miss Breezy video.
You crashed my game so times. Oh, no.
Yeah, it's pretty one-sided. What a shock, Roman centurions stood no chance against modern military hardware.
Dead.
Also, I know this isn't the right country for this specific song, but screw it, it's my video, I'm playing it anyway. The Emperor meets with his daughter and leader of the Order of the Rose Knights, Princess Pina Colada. Pina Colada. What a name. Pina and her knights are tasked with making contact with the men in green.
Because you are the Green Man. Green Man is saving your life right now, bro. Just go with the flow.
Itami, meanwhile, is put in charge of his own recon unit.
Are you kidding? This is the dipshit they sent us?
And I think now is a good time to introduce these guys. First off is Karada. They actually met earlier in the season.
Come on, Karada, what the heck is your problem?
Sir, I'm flattered, but I'm not really interested!
Wait, what?
And personality-wise, he's just kind of the same as Itami.
Confirmed! A blonde with sweet ringlets, a hottie in men's clothes, followed by even more hotties!
And roses.
And roses!
Then we have Kurabayashi. She's my favorite character.
Bayonets, men.
All right!
That dumbass.
She's the straight man of the series.
Oh, dear God.
But also a little psycho. Almost every scene she's in, she absolutely steals. I love her. Next we have Kurikawa. She's the team's medic. That's it. She really doesn't do much other than be another straight man.
What a surprise, they're all girls.
Well, it's just a coincidence.
Uh-huh, I'm so not buying this.
Well, it's still just a coincidence.
Of course, sure.
Then finally we have Tomita. Oh my god, he is the most boring one in the entire group. He has the personality of dry toast. Like, he does have a couple funny moments in the series, but they are few and far between.
This is really nice. It sure is. And we're all alone. Yes, we are.
That's the recon unit. Like, there are other people here, like this old sergeant guy, but they almost never do anything. I guess while I'm at it, I should introduce the other two JSDF people here. First, we have General Hazuma. He's certainly a general. Then we have Yanagita. He's kinda conniving and sneaky. He likes to annoy Itami sometimes. I think that's really most of the main JSDF characters. Itami and his men go off making contact with the locals. They then come across a dragon cooking an elf village to congratulation.
Sergeant Kuribayashi, do you think you could hold my hand for me? Your commanding officer is getting kind of scared over here.
Eat it.
Is that a no?
Once their chef is finished, they discover Lil Timmy fell down a well, an elf girl named Tuka. She's gonna be one of our co-leads for the rest of the series. She's also kinda crazy, but that's not plot relevant yet, don't worry about it. After this, we meet our second co-lead, Lei.
Bow, chicka, bow, wow!
She's a little witch, and she meets the JSDF helping a village evacuate from the dragon. And then there's this scene that has some of the worst audio design I've ever heard in my life. Why the fuck is it a crying baby? What the hell? Why does it sound like it's being recorded from the next room over? A couple scenes later, we meet our final co-lead, Rory Mercury. Her whole thing is that she's an apostle for the god of war. And she takes a special interest into the JSDF, especially Itami.
That is not where you sit. Please just move.
Rory is 15, by the way. Yeah, Gate is doing the anime thing where she's actually...
961 of your years, honey.
Huh? 900?
So yeah, that's a little gross and hopefully not foreshadowing for something much worse later in the series, but hey look, it's the dragon again. Despite how terrible the CGI for the dragon is, the scene itself I think looks pretty cool. Seeing modern day soldiers fight a dragon just tickles a very specific itch in my brain. Also, it could just be because I've been playing the game recently, but this scene kinda reminds me of Pow World. I mean this as a compliment, I like Pow World. After defeating the beast with an RPG and the power of friendship, they make it back to the base with some refugees. I'm gonna skip ahead because there's not really much to talk about.
Everyone, get ready! Develop!
Yeah.
Huh?
You've still got time to take that language class.
Shut up!
The girls find some wyvern scales that they want to trade, so the gang decides to head to the city of Italica, where Pina, her men, and the citizens have been holding off against some bandits, composed of soldiers that survived the battles with the Japanese. I'm sure this detail won't be important later. On an unrelated note, foreshadowing is a narrative device that the gang arrives, there's shenanigans.
What kind of person just shoves the door open without even looking? Even dwarves and pixies are more careful than that!
And then they start planning on how to repel the bandits. Pina posts the JSDF and crew at the gate that was attacked.
This gate was already damaged during their prior engagement, so her assumption is that if they see just the 12 of us here, they'll attack.
However, the bandits, being former soldiers and all, attack the gate that they least expected.
Why, way over there? We were supposed to fight them right here!
How did Pina not take this into account, by the way? She literally addressed this herself earlier.
We did what we were supposed to, rushed to their defense, and what did we find? Soldiers from the other kingdoms turned rogue!
I don't know, maybe this is just meant to be chalked up to her being naive about how war actually works.
I've imagined its reality so many times, but I had no concept of its true horror.
Actually, that's probably exactly what it is, and I'm just being a dumbass. Anyways, it's now a race against time for Tommy and crew to get to the other side of the city. Meanwhile, the rest of the self-defense force are planning an airborne attack on the bandits, all while backed by Flight of the Valkyries.
What the hell are you doing sitting on your helmet? I want to hold on to my testicles, thank you.
There's some fighting, Kurabayashi goes insane, and then eventually the rest of the JSDF arrive and...
It's a monster.
Holy shit. Look, as cool as this scene looked, if you stop and think about it for just a little bit, this is just kind of fucked up. I know I played that clip earlier as a joke.
It's a monster.
But think about this from the perspective of the people that actually live in this fantasy world for a second. You just saw a flying beast of steel kill hundreds of men in the span of a few seconds. Like, for us, that's just how modern warfare is, but for the people of this world, this should be horrifying, right? Like this girl's reaction, her name's Hamilton, by the way,
It's a monster.
is honestly justified for someone who has never seen a gunner chopper before, let alone in action. Is Gate trying to make a commentary about how we are desensitized to violence in our modern society?
It's a monster.
Of course not. The show just wanted a scene that looked cool. And if there's one thing that Gate is constantly trying to do, it's make the SDF look cool.
Outstanding! Get you a case of beer for that one.
Which I think I've beaten around the bush long enough about it now, so I'm just gonna say it. Gate is propaganda.
What?
I know this information may have just shattered all your worldviews. I'm sorry. One of Gate's primary objectives is to make the SDF look as cool and kind as possible. Maybe even convince the viewer to register with them. Now, me personally, I don't think Gate being propaganda takes away from whatever entertainment value or quality it may have. Like, have you seen old propaganda art? This shit went nuts. But I do think it's important to point out that one of Gate's objectives is to convince your average Japanese citizen to pay a visit to their local enlistment center. So after Pina and the JSDF negotiate a peace treaty, the Order of the Rose immediately breaks it, along with Atami's face. I'm gonna skip a bunch of other stuff that happens here. So, fearing the war starting back up, Pina, alongside this other knight girl named Bozus, decide to accompany the JSDF back to their base to speak with General Hazama. A deal is made, and Atami and the gang are heading back through the gate to Tokyo to discuss the dragon battle and discuss future diplomatic options between Japan and the Empire. We meet Atami's ex-wife, there's a shopping scene, Pina and Bozus discover yaoi.
So, what kind of books you looking for?
Slice of life!
And eventually they make their way to a hotel where a bunch of anime things happen.
This is totally the plot of one of my stories!
Rory tries to make some advances on Atami, but since Atami isn't Dr. Disrespect, he politely declines. Before anything else can happen, though, everyone is rudely awoken by some black ops sent by the American, Chinese, and Russian governments. They all get squad wiped by Rory in this honestly sick as fuck scene. And now the gang has to get back through the gate before anything else happens.
I am going to kill you! You're just winging it!
Hey, you are still drunk, aren't you?
I wish I was!
Oh, and the Japanese Prime Minister steps down.
Stupid bastard.
I had no reason to mention that other than because I wanted to use this clip because I thought it was funny.
Stupid bastard.
Also, this does give me the opportunity to talk about something I would like to actually show some props for, and that's the animation. Aside from some dodgy CG at times, the main 2D animation looks pretty good. Some shots are really nice to look at, action scenes are animated pretty fluidly, lighting and effects just go fucking nuts sometimes, like look at this. I just gotta give credit to A1 Pictures, the studio that animated this. If you don't know A1, you definitely know what they've worked on. They've animated a lot of popular anime, actually. Stuff like Fairy Tail, Solo Leveling, 7 Deadly Sins before Studio Dean took it and turned it into 7 Deadly Frames, Your Lie in April, Kaguya-sama, and Sword Art Online.
That was even more impressive than that cat that learned to play.
Oh my god! You guys can see it too? So I'm not crazy! Isn't that great, Jesus?
That's right, Jeffrey. Now, kill them all.
You know what, it's starting to make slightly more sense why A1 were the ones chosen to animate this. In the end, they all make it back through the gate, despite some CIA shenanigans. With all this, Pina decides that her new mission now is to find some sort of peaceful resolution to the war.
My mission now is to bring an end to this war.
Onward to the next episode, turns out that the refugee camp the SDF set up has actually expanded into a full town outside the base. There's goods from our world that are traded here, SDF soldiers use the town as a hangout spot, there's this bird girl working as military police. I actually like this new element of the town that's introduced. Allows for some unique scenarios and greater world building in the future. We also get to formally meet Sugawara, a member of the Japanese Ministry of Foreign Affairs sent to help with the negotiations, and will certainly not be involved in anything problematic later in the series. We actually met him earlier in Season 1, but I didn't feel like mentioning him since he wasn't really important yet. Anyways, he and Pina strike a deal with this important nobleman to not get in the way during their peace negotiations, in exchange for the release of some POWs, one of which being his nephew, apparently. Meanwhile, a new challenger approaches into town, a dark elf girl named Yao. She's on a quest to meet with, as she calls them, the Green Ones. Turns out that dastardly dragon is up to his old tricks again, killing a tribe of dark elves this time. Can't help but notice this dragon has almost exclusively targeted elves. What a chud. Also, remember earlier in the video when Tuca was introduced and I said, she's also kinda crazy, but that's not plot relevant yet, don't worry about it. Well, it is plot relevant now, and you should worry about it. You see, turns out the dragon attack on her village and the death of her father really traumatized Tuca.
Every day about this time, she starts wandering around looking for her dead father.
And Itami doesn't want to tell her because it would potentially only break her psyche even further.
Won't be long before we're called back through the gate. All of us will be gone, and Tuca will be left here to deal with it all by herself.
Okay, so you favor doing nothing?
I do. If we can't care for that girl until the very end, then let her be.
The reason I'm bringing all this up now is because this and Yao's whole thing will become intertwined in the funniest and kinda most f***ed up way possible later. So after a whole misunderstanding between Yao, Itami, and Rory,
I will make sure this hurts!
You're messed up, Rory!
Yao ends up going around town trying to convince the SDF to help her. Only problem though is there's a language barrier and the soldiers have no idea what the hell she wants. Also, a bunch of pervs around town keep lying about translating for her. They face consequences. She does eventually get approached by some military police though for questioning, and Lele is brought on to interpret. Turns out one of the guys that Yao kicked in the nuts filed a false police report against her. Lele does learn of the dragon from Yao though, and she gets her an audience with General Hazama. And she asks the SDF for their help, but Hazama refuses for honestly pretty valid reasons.
It's not like we need an army or anything. I heard that it was only maybe 10 of your soldiers who defeated it and drove it away. That's all we need.
It's out of the question. I will not put my men in such extraordinary danger. These beasts are deadly. It's pure luck they survived the first time.
Yeah, the last 2 episodes of Season 1 are really all just set up for Season 2. Like introducing this bunny girl named Delilah. What's it like in New York City? Sorry, couldn't help it. Yao trying to find Itami. And most importantly, of course, Pina getting her translated yaoi manga.
What did you get exactly? Huh?
A work of fine art.
In fact, the rest of the Order of the Rose get interested in yaoi.
What are they reading that for? And how the hell am I going to enter this into my report?
Okay, Pina's copy actually ends up having some hidden stuff for the peace negotiations for Season 2, but the idea of Season 1 just ending with Pina and her knights getting male-on-male romance manga just sends me. In fact, I think I figured out a way to end the war in Gate. Give every single member a Blu-ray copy of Heated Rivalry. Anyways, that's how Season 1 ends. Gate is not one of the best animes I think I've ever seen. It's not even one of the best isekais, but it certainly is one of the most entertaining. Like I said at the start of the video, the isekai genre is incredibly oversaturated. Every avenue you can possibly take the concept of going to another world has just been beaten into the ground. And some of these problems Gate also has, especially in Season 2. But Gate also had a lot of its own ideas to bring to the table. Even if a lot of those ideas are stemmed from propaganda, those ideas are still interesting, and I do commend Gate for the things it does accomplish. And if there's one thing I hope all of you take away from this video, it's that Season 1 of Gate is honestly pretty cool. I will say that though the season does have a satisfying ending overall, all the setup that they do in those last 2 episodes just make the ending of the season feel, you know, just a tiny bit awkward. Like Gate basically just starts a whole new story arc and then just stops. It kind of reminds me of how Season 1 of Dawn to Dawn ended. If you've seen Dawn to Dawn, you know what I'm talking about. Still, Season 1's ending is pretty satisfying. It ends on a pretty solid cliffhanger, and all the stakes are now properly set up for Season 2. And Season 2 sure is something.
The love between Sugawara and I will last forever!
Yeah, and it will all be totally legal, I swear!
It's a monster.